Anime fans are eating so good right now, but watching anime has become more inconvenient and more expensive than ever. And it all comes down to one thing. Remember when Crunchyroll used to be fun? It was a company for anime fans, by anime fans. But that all changed once Sony took over. Now I covered that and Crunchyroll's many problems in a previous video, which you should check out, but since then, things have gotten even worse for them. Like watching free anime, completely gone. Now there was a time when you could watch seasons of anime free of charge and all you had to deal with were ads. But over the years, they've slowly and surely cut back on the amount of free content you could watch. Full Metal Alchemist? More like Half Metal Alchemist, am I right? Okay, let's get back to how trifling Crunchyroll is, alright? Let's talk about how Crunchyroll has had their third price hike in 6 years. Which is wild considering the fact that there haven't been a single price hike in their first 12 years of existence. And you'd think those extra costs would go towards content, right? You'd be wrong. The streaming service has been quietly pulling titles left and right with no warning whatsoever. Which is kind of ridiculous given the age of Crunchyroll and how long they've been at the streaming game. I mean, they're one of the pioneers, to be honest. And they wouldn't have a leaving soon notification or some kind of list like some of the others. I mean, heck, Tubi's even got one. But the likely reason why Crunchyroll is having to pull these titles away is probably because they've lost expiration, giving Crunchyroll even less to work with. So in 2025, Crunchyroll did launch a manga service, which sounds pretty decent on the surface. Until you realize, unless you had the highest membership tier of Crunchyroll, then you are gonna most likely have to pay an extra $12 to read their manga. And then you realize you can watch manga straight from the source at a fraction of the price. Look, Sony thinks by forcing people's hands and eliminating other options is going to give them the best chances of picking up these customers, but they're wrong, wholeheartedly. And this is hard to watch because I've been with Crunchyroll since the beginning, but look, they are not the same company anymore. This is what happens when you let corporations take over niche communities. They strip out what people actually love because it doesn't fill their balance sheet. Crunchyroll's flailing, but you know who isn't? Everyone else. The competition is fierce and Netflix is top dog. Ever since they entered the anime, they've been making their own anime and picking up some big-time exclusives, including one of the biggest anime studios to date. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think some of the biggest anime on the planet right now aren't even going to be available on the biggest anime streaming service. Go figure. And it's doubly crazy to think that these big-time anime are going to be only on the same streaming service that decides to put one episode of Steel Ball Run for an entire season. As much as I despise Netflix jail, there's no denying that watching anime on this streaming service is far more superior. And they've pushed the envelope with anime content in the form of crossovers and live-action anime with some success. There was even a potential deal that would have brought in some of the most distinguished anime films from legendary auteurs like Satoshi Kon, Makoto Shinkai, and the entire Ghibli library. Well, at least here in America, because we all know our international friends out there already have that luxury of seeing those films on Netflix as we speak. I mean, this deal would have been the equivalent of a McDonald's acquiring a Shake Shack. Despite this loss, Netflix is already an anime power player. Award-winning originals, simulcasts, and the possibilities keep on growing. Disney Plus and Amazon are also in the anime space, albeit to a lesser degree. And look, they have some strong titles in their own right. However, this is a double-edged sword. More anime spread across different streamers means higher prices and harder choices on which one of these we need to subscribe to. And some of these companies are already embracing a thing that needs to get the heck out of here. AI is everywhere now, and honestly, you shouldn't be surprised. I don't have a problem with AI itself, just the companies who are force-feeding it to us while quietly eliminating people's livelihoods over it. Anime fans got a front row seat to this in 2025 when Amazon decided to release a couple of dubs for some iconic anime titles.
You sick, ugly bastard.
Watch your mouth, you little rascal.
Oh, my Lanta. Thankfully, we won because the backlash was so hard that Amazon quickly removed those AI dubs. But the war is not over. Amazon is actively streamlining their entire operation, and that's leading to the result of cutting thousands and thousands of jobs in favor of automation. So AI dubs will unfortunately come back around once the quality improves. But what we can do is continue to reject it and reject it, no matter how polished it may get. Dubbing is an art. It's a craft where voice actors pour themselves into recreating the soul of the characters that they need to represent. Sure, it doesn't always land, but it's worth protecting every time. This is just one more piece of originality that anime cannot afford to lose. Speaking of originality, remember when anime films were primarily just standalone stories from your favorite franchises? Strange villains, random new worlds, all completely skippable. Now we're in the era of the movie sequel, where they continue the story of their TV counterparts. Honestly, I love this. More anime deserves the cinematic treatment. But this is also the return of the lazy recap films, and I find them absolutely abhorrent. I mean, you're paying to watch episodes you've already seen. Now, I remember going into the Demon Slayer to the Swordsmith Village movie thinking, oh, we're gonna get a whole hour and a half of like new content, it's gonna be great. But lo and behold, we get one episode, which came out basically like a couple weeks after, and the rest of it was just the previous season, the Entertainment District. It was the worst, and I vowed I'm never gonna watch one of those Demon Slayer movies again. You're not taking my money, alright? There was a time when even recap films brought something valuable to the table. Now that anime is mainstream though, expect companies to be much more lazier and just to lean on these IPs and, do whatever they can to just make an extra dollar. I mean, I was hopeful about Crunchyroll's anime nights, but look, honestly at this point I don't know anymore. Not all anime films are bad, just know that some of them are out there just to make a quick buck. Corporatization is that word that has made anime watching so much more inconvenient and much more expensive. And this was always the price of mainstream success. However, the best thing you can do in this day and age is to enjoy anime in the best way possible for you. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. So what does that look like for you? Drop it in the comments and let me know what you feel is the current state of anime watching at this point. Maybe I'm off with this whole thing, or maybe I'm not. I want to hear all about it. So don't forget to subscribe if you like what you see and you want to see more of it. Now, I also have a video that you should check out. It should be on this screen, and it talks about the fall of Crunchyroll. Basically, everything that we've talked about today is a further exaggeration of what I talked about in the previous video. So if you want more of that in the state of Crunchyroll and other anime streaming services, don't forget to check that out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Man, I remember there was a time when you get crucified for watching anime. Now you get crucified for not watching anime. What a world.